Hey, hi,
Now
good
it is
evening,
recording.
everyone. Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, first of all, we have been away for some time. Also, was traveling, I was not well. So, first of all, it's a very great result for India. I guess we are very happy about that. And we'll talk about all that has been talked in the press about Ben Stokes and not shaking hands. And there are a lot of images on the Instagram and other social media on Twitter. The other thing we are going to talk about is before we get into all that, what should have been done, what should have not been done, which is just like last 30 minutes of the game. We also
Hmm.
want to talk about what has happened before that. And I think right now, from where I see, India is in a great position to maybe pull this off. A great heist it would be if they are going to draw 2-2. And I think it was a very satisfying result if you're an Indian cricket fan. And let's discuss first the whole test match, and then we will get into things which are auxiliary and which are like tangent to what happened in a test match.
Yeah, yeah. So, first of all, Ben Stokes, will come back to Ben Stokes later on. Before that, what is to be put forth is like a team bats for 5 sessions, which England in the last 15 years or 20 years, I think, have not done to save a game. And after the heroics of the second test, where India won, we were talking on how a draw is a great result. And Ravi Shastri's words again, like India pulled this off, and probably only such a team could have pulled this off. Those of them who know how to play time. You were 0 for 2, and then you bat for 5 sessions. You lose just 2 wickets, that too in the morning, and you bring it to a great result. To be very honest, and the way KL Rahul has played, the way Shubman Gill played, the kind of metal which Washington has shown. And sometimes I think that Washington is a pure batter. He used to open for age group cricket for Tamil Nadu, I guess. And
Yes.
and when you look at him batting against spinners, somebody like a Dawson, like he has zero respect for Dawson. And Jadeja, as we have talked, is a legend. Legend in his own spirit. He is the most undroppable player in Test cricket today, and that is something which we said, I think, 4 weeks back. It was very satisfying, and if you ask me, when the game started, and when we were doing the pre-test for when we recorded the pre-test video for the game, we were talking about if India does not score 350 in the first inning, we are not going to go anywhere, and probably we scored 350, and then England come on to bat, and because of our bowling choices, the kind of bowling which we did, for 70 overs, you do not bring Washington Sundar. Either you do not have confidence in him, or your coach is saying that no, go with the front line which you have chosen. And then Washington Sundar brings you wickets. So there is something which I could not understand. Like, is Gigi meddling with the bowling choices which Shubman Gill is making? Or is Shubman Gill, because he's a new captain, he does not know much of Test cricket, and maybe he's making those mistakes? If it is a mistake, he will learn from it. But if it is something which is coming from the dressing room, I have no clue.
Okay, okay. So I have three things to say to that. First of all, when we were last talking about it, I told you in India, if you are a batting all rounder, you have to be a pure batsman.
Yeah,
People don't understand that. I'm still harping on it after even like telling it 2, 3 times. Washington Sundar is a pure batsman. You have to understand that.
yeah,
He has to like I think he has to work on his bowling more than on his batting. He's a pure batsman, and I tell you, even if you're playing on number 8 in India, and if you're a batting all rounder, you have to be a technically sound batsman. That's the first thing. Second thing, and was also telling this before the test happened, that I would rather prefer Prasid Krishna than Anshul Kambos.
Anshul
I have
Kamboj,
seen
yeah.
him only ball very limited. Like I have seen him like maybe 20
In
minutes of his
IPL
bowling.
maybe. Yeah, in IPL maybe.
Yeah,
The kind
IPL
of
he
pace,
played for.
the kind of the kind of pace at which he's bowling, like it makes you feel very bad for a young guy. And there were memes
Yes.
on Twitter wherein people were comparing him to Marnus Labuschagne, and then they were sharing the stats that this guy is bowling at 130 and Marnus Labuschagne also bowls at 130. In what's the
Only person who has made some kind of career bowling a pace like that is Praveen Kumar.
Yeah, because he
Nobody
can
else in India.
move the ball both ways, and PK still is, in my
And the
eyes,
third
a
thing,
legend.
if you listen about Gautam Gambhir's press conference, I don't know, first of all, what he is angry about.
Hmm.
Second, he has, I don't know who pointed it out in the commentary. India has done good despite Gautam Gambhir's choices.
Yeah, that's
Not
one way to
because
put it.
they,
Yeah, that's
that
one
not
way to
because
put
Gigi made choices, and I'm pretty much sure that that's the right thing. And I heard it from, I don't know who on the commentary. He said Gautam Gambhir has done nothing in this. Gautam Gambhir made choices, and India have done despite of that. They have
it. Yeah,
done well despite of that, and it could have been a different if it was somebody like Ravi Sastry or maybe even Rahul Dravid for that matter.
yeah. Rahul Dravid
So
always
that's
was a
something.
good test coach. Means I could not
Yes,
understand him in limited overs, and probably he also, like, Rahul Dravid redeemed himself by winning the T20 World Cup. But
yes,
like we also talk about that, we do not need a coach in limited over cricket. But here, Gautam Gambhir, like the kind of interviews or press conferences or post match conferences which happen, the way he talks, it feels as if, the vibe is not good.
yes. I don't know that this is going to be sounding very arrogant, but if I was put in that press conference after day 4 or day 5, I would have talked more sense than Gigi did in those
Yeah,
both those conferences, and I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
sure
yeah,
he has more knowledge of cricket than me. I have just been watching it for 25 years. He has played for at least 10, 12 years, but I did not like it at all. There is no cricketing talk. There is no talk of strategy, what he thought. He's just talking about emotions, and I did not like it at all. I watched the whole interview for just to understand what is the coach thinking, because that's important. And like we discussed last time, if you have a young captain like Suman Gill, Gautam Gambhir becomes important. And the way he's
Hmm.
talking nonsense, it is like just Suman Gill is carrying the team when you have a veteran as your
I, I
coach.
I think Gautam Gambhir has learned bad things from politics and he is applying in cricket. So,
Maybe, very much possible.
and there is this thing about cricket. Everything is not about nationalism. Putting your life for the game, playing for the country, representing the country. What kind of chauvinism you are bringing into the game? It's a game. Talk about tactics. If somebody from some publication is asking you a question, you can answer that question, right?
Yes.
You can answer that question. You don't have to come from position of confrontation, and this is where Gautam Gambhir is coming from. And a position of confrontation is not good.
Not at all. If you are the head coach of Team India, you don't have to confront. And I don't know, all his answers has nothing to do with cricket. If you see the
Yeah,
10, 12 minutes press conference on the last day, I don't think 90% of it has got anything to do with cricket. And that is what I'm disappointed in. As a
yeah.
coach, 90% of your interview should be all about what it should do with cricket, and 10% maybe about what will happen in the future and
What
all
will
the
happen?
tactics and mental games. 10%, I understand that. So that's something which I'm really disappointed in. Let's dissect this from beginning. First of all, India's first inning, series was on the line. Do you think India was a little defensive in getting to 350 odd score because they took a lot of time? And I know the pitch might be doing something, and it was doing something. Like maybe that was the worst pitch to bat on first 2 days. But I also saw a little bit of defensiveness because people were trying to maybe bat the time on the first 2 days of test, and something
So,
that is I'm not comfortable with.
it's from where I'm looking at it is batsmen got starts. So Sai Sudarshan was essentially trying to save his place. So you have somebody coming after being dropped. So somebody like that plays for his place. And people who got starts never could make a big score. And in that position, then you have Rishabh Pant getting hit. So the way he got hit essentially took around 30 to 40 runs, in fact, even 50 runs out of your game. And it's not about defensive cricket. More than that, it was about, can we get to 350, 400? That was the target in India's mind. And they played slow on first day. But you have to also understand that your premium batter is injured, and then you don't have much batting to come. And I would not call it defensive cricket. I would call it, that is the way India plays. They do not play like Jack Crawley or Ben Duckett, because these are the same players who reaped you benefits in the second inning by playing time. So essentially, they play time and they score runs, but they were not thinking of scoring 500, 600 runs. They were only targeting maybe 350 runs to get started. And with the kind of defensive bowling which you have, like, I don't understand why you have batting till 7 or 8. And it is not the tail ender's job to sort of win you matches. That's one, because you were coming from the scar of losing the game by 20 odd runs. So they thought that we'll strengthen the batting, and they did that, right? But if the tail ender is not able to win you games, that does not mean that you'll strengthen your batting. You will get your bowling sorted, right? So that, like, games are won by taking 20 wickets, not by strengthening your batting, which is something Gigi is not able to get. Anshul Kamboj, like, you are a young blood of 20, 25 years. Like, you can put your back on the line and hit the deck. Like, we bowled so little short deliveries that England at the end of it were scoring at like 5 runs and over throughout the inning, right? So that is something which I could not understand. It was not defensive batting. That is the way India bats. You
No, the
cannot
other
expect.
thing that the other thing that I really want to understand, and that's something that I have been thinking about, is India has been the better bowling side. Even in the result is 2-1. India was the better bowling side for the first three tests most of the time. If you take the game in its entirety of time, for 70-80%, India bowlers have done better than England bowlers. But suddenly, after we got out for 350 odd, and then they started batting, for me, the bowling seemed pretty average. Even coming from
It was
Bumrah,
below.
I like
It was below average. It was below average. At one point, England were scoring at, I think, 5.5 and over when the
five,
openers were there.
five. Yes, yes.
Yeah, and in stretches they have even scored at 6. So it was as if Jack Crawley and Ben Duckett were playing fearless cricket, and there was no tooth. With Bumrah not bowling at his top, he was not hitting 140 Ks. So you cannot expect to get wickets like that. You cannot expect to get wickets like that. And it is not just poor bowling choice. I don't know. I don't know. To be very honest, I don't know. Like, they were like, you do not introduce your Washington later in the game, like until 70 overs. You are playing Shardul as a bowling all-rounder, but he does not have, he's not coming in packets of 4, 5, 6 overs and hitting the deck. Then there's
That
no
is another
point.
thing. That is another thing. I think I don't know whether it is true or not, but see, for England to not introduce Liam Dawson till a very long time when we were batting makes a lot of sense. They have, on paper at least, better fast bowlers than us, the
Yeah.
top four
And we are
bowlers.
also
To
better
get,
players of spin. We are also better
yeah.
players of spin.
Yes, but what Subman Gill did was, I think he took a leaf out of Ben Stokes' book that like spin was not introduced till so late. So I'm not going to give Washington Sundar a chance that much. And Jadeja also did not ball too much before that when
Yeah.
Washington Sundar was introduced. So that is something that you don't do because you are playing two spinners for a reason. They are all rounders. They
Yeah.
have to also bowl. And when
Hmm.
your Anshul Kamboj is not doing anything, give the ball to Washington Sundar. He did prove himself in the last match, and nobody can deny that, right?
Like, if it was a tactical mistake on the part of Shubman Gill, I'm okay with it. But if it was something from Gigi, that they have not bowled Dawson, why will you bowl Washington? Then I think it's like just myopic point of view of the game, to be very honest. I think we are already at 14 minutes, so we should talk about what we have to talk about. Let's come
Yeah.
back to Stokes. What
Okay.
unfolded in the last 15 minutes was to me more like a farce, and means I have no words to sort of explain uh, what Stokes was trying to do and why he was doing that, moral posturing, and why he was trying to be holier than thou, or why he was trying to be, this is the way the English play cricket. I could not get it.
Like I've had a lot of players on this, including Nasir and Jonathan Trott and everybody else. Somebody and the farcical is somebody calling it a difference of culture, which was Sanjay
Difference of
Manjrekar.
culture. Yeah.
It is not difference of culture. It's not difference of culture. When you're a young 24, 25-year-old batter who has batted through the day, through a storm of things, is getting his maiden 100, there is no culture that should not allow that. And I
Correct.
don't know where they get this, media loving terms like difference of culture,
Culture.
how India plays cricket and how Australia plays England plays test cricket. It is not that. It is simply, it's hypocrisy at its best. And I would have liked if it was just Ben Duckett and Jack Crawley coming to Jadeja and saying, "You cannot do this," or whatever they said. But as a leader of the side, if Ben Stokes comes and says
Just
that, "Do you
it's
want to
just
hit
uh,
a three on it?"
it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
holier than thou. Like, you introduced Harry Brook, right? You gave the ball to Harry Brook, and then you come back and say that, do you want to score a century against Harry Brook?
And
What
no,
the
no, no.
heck,
And
man?
he introduced Harry Brook after he said that, not before
After he
that.
said that. Yeah,
That is
yeah.
the point. That is the
That
point.
is,
That is the point.
like, this
Now
is like,
you are
I
first of all,
think
you are. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
like Ben Stokes was upset, frustrated because he had to bowl whole day. He could not get wickets when it was required. And then when it was like, okay, I want to keep my bowlers fresh for the next test, and the game is not going anywhere, I want to shake hands. You should have shaken hands at the beginning of the day. You had your chance. Your Jofra Archer can't do anything. Your Jofra Archer can't do anything. He is bowling leg side. The delivery is not doing anything. Your prime bowlers are not doing anything. You are not able to get the wickets. And then you come back and you have the audacity to tell two people who are in their 90s. There's a young player who has been stranded at 96, has been stranded at 80 earlier, is going to get his first away test century in a game which is very important to keep the series alive, and then you have the audacity to tell that such farcical things. And I also respect Jadeja there, the kind of conversation which he had with Stokes. He said, uh, the dressing room does not want me to go. What do you want me to do? And that was probably the right thing to say. And Jadeja, I respect Jadeja because he will always do what the dressing room wants him to do. Had the dressing room told him to bat the rest of 15 overs, he would have batted. But if it was somebody like a Virat Kohli, he would have actually made them bat for the next 15 overs.
And I think I would have done that too if I was in place of Jadeja. Jadeja is that way, a person who is a lot calmer. But problem with the whole thing was first, uh, see, it was okay that you went to shake a hand. It is fair. You went to shake a hand. Somebody said no, 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 we don't want to do that. What happened after that? You said, do you want to make 100 against Harry Brooks? Harry Brooks had not balled before that. And then you
Hmm,
introduce Harry Brooks. You are not respecting the game enough. That is the first
correct,
thing. Second thing, I have
correct.
no problem with Ben Duckett and Jack Crawley make comments on Jadeja and Washi. You need 1 hour, you need more, you should have batted like that. That is fine. That is proper banter between players on the field. But as a captain on the side, you do that, you say that you want to make 100 against Harry Brooks and you introduce him. And maybe Harry Brooks balls better than it, by the way. He has balled before. He does not ball those half volleys. He was also disrespecting the game. And my problem is that once you are denied an opportunity, now you're behaving like a spoiled kid, maybe. And there is no better way to put this. They were
Yeah,
just behaving like spoiled kids. And somebody put it very nicely that Ben Stokes does not like it when the game is not about him.
yeah,
And I am totally, that is what happened with Ben Stokes at least. For last 2 days, it was Ben Stokes 5 wickets, Ben Stokes 150, and then when the last day was not about him, he just like he's
They were
just a
just pissed
brat in
off.
that
They were
region.
just pissed off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And you have a right to be pissed off when you are an individual player. You don't have a right to be pissed off when you are a captain.
yeah,
You have to carry the team, you carry the pride of the nation, and that is where my problem is. If Stokes had not said anything about bowling Brook, and then he would have bowled Brook, I had no problem with that. You are protecting your seamers, you are protecting your fast bowlers because you have to play the next match after 4 days. I will have no problem with the incident. If Stokes have not come up and said, "Do you want to make a century against Harry Brook?" and then you bring Harry Brook into
introduce
attack,
Harry Brooks. Yeah.
that is the my biggest problem with the whole instance. You could have just gone about your way. ठीक है, you are pissed. You just bowl your part timers, let the time pass, and I think the best response could have been you could have just gone up to Jadeja and Washi. You should have said, okay, you want to like see. I'm telling you, if you want to take another 2 3 hours to do this, we're okay with this. We'll bowl our part timers. You get your century, and then we can call this a day.
Yeah.
That is the response as a captain that you have given, not as a player. As a player, you can be pissed off, but as a captain, you cannot be pissed off. And if somebody is not second hand, you can have told him, okay, take another 5 hours if you want. Let's
No,
talk again. And that,
essentially, what Stokes was trying to do was to make a theater for the camera. That incident lasted 3 minutes. He goes out, and here's the image. I'll show you an image. This is the image. This is what he's doing. He gets his hand out, and Jadeja is on the other end.
yeah, he
And
keeps
then
walking his hand like
he
that.
keeps walking
Yeah.
his hand like that. Those are pure like theatricals. All he was trying to do was to make something for the camera that this is how the Indians play cricket, and they are all about personal glory. They are all about personal milestones and stuff like that. So even like recently when Sunny Gavaskar was talking into the commentary, I don't remember exactly, and then there was something which another commentator said that if Joe Root gets the highest run tally in Test cricket, it is going to be great for cricket. So then Sunny Gavaskar comes back, and in his sunny ways, he says, "How is it going to be better for cricket if Joe Root gets it? What is the problem when Sachin has it?" So there are smaller things like this. There are smaller things like wherein you're just trying to posture, moral posturing, some kind of virtue signaling which you do, and that is like just stinking attitude, just simply stinking attitude, and probably this will come and bite England back while when they come back for the last test in London, and they will be some of them will be angry because they're already angry, and they will come and make mistakes on the ground, and which is going to play on India's side, I guess. And probably we should end this in the next couple of minutes. Yeah. So
I
uh,
just one last question before we close this off. What is going to be the India's next lineup, considering maybe Bumrah will not play? That's the last question I have for
I
our
have
audience.
to be very honest. After the last four tests, I have no clue. If you ask me, if you ask me, you should play because you don't have Pant. Start with KL and Shubman. You have Sai Sudarshan. Then you have Shubman. Then, sorry, you have KL and Jaiswal. Then you have Sai Sudarshan. Then you have Shubman. Then you have either Vashi or Jadeja on either numbers, or Jurel, depending on if you want to maintain that left-right combination, because you'll have to do something like that. And at the on the last four, I think they will give one test match to Kuldeep Yadav. I think he deserves that, because anyway you're going to have bowlers. Siraj you will always have, and I'm not able to think of the second or third bowler, because in this situation Shardul
If Akashdeep is fit, I guess you will go with Siraj, Akashdeep, and maybe Prasidh Krishna.
and Kuldeep.
Kuldeep.
I would
Yes,
rather
three
go with,
spinners, three fasters.
yeah, I would rather go with a specialist bowler than somebody like Anshul Kamboj or Shardul, because it becomes a necessity to play Shardul Thakur because he can also bat a little. But
No, no, no.
having
But
seen,
if you have like Washi and Jadeja and your team, so you have batting till 7. I know Kuldeep Yadav has not made a lot of runs, but he can
But he
bat
bats.
defensively
But
better.
he bats. Yeah, he
He bats
bats.
better than Jasprit Bumrah, so you have to
Yeah,
take that into account. So if Jasprit Bumrah is not playing, you have three faster in Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, and Akashdeep. He is fit.
Akashdeep.
You have a
Yeah,
spinner. You have a
you have a
spinner in
spinner.
Kuldeep
You have
Yadav
a
because
pure play spinner.
sometimes
Yeah,
oval does a little bit for
I'm not
spin.
really sure. Like this time around, all English pitches have not done what they used to do earlier.
I know
So
that has happened because of bad ball. You want to force the result. The pitches have changed, but still, Kuldeep Yadav, even if it's not turning much, he's not a liability in terms of bowling.
he's not a liability. He's not a liability. You can
If
play
you
him
want
as
to
a
have a
pure.
spinner, yes, you want to have a spinner who can still control if he's not taking wickets. He is
Correct.
again that bowler. So that's where I'm coming from. At least,
I hope. I hope somebody puts sense into Gigi's head, and because Kuldeep, I don't think many of these players, English players, have played Kuldeep.
ever played.
And,
Yes, exactly.
and Kuldeep is good. Kuldeep being a Chinaman, he's going to do good stuff. Even if the pitch is not supporting him, he will do something, and he's going to trouble the left-handers.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at, and let's hope like the game is starting in 2 days, and I'm looking really looking forward to it. It'll be an end to a good English summer, and let's hope that it is 2-2. Last time also it was 2-2.
It will be better if it is 2-2, so
Yeah,
that the only persons who are answering questions after that are the English team and the English press,
correct,
not
correct.
Indians.
Yeah, yeah. So having said that, let's call it a day, and we'll put it out on YouTube and Twitter as usual. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Okay.